Confidence in trading never arrives in a sudden flash of brilliance. It comes quietly, almost like a whisper, usually after the market has already tried its best to break you. I learned this during the first position I ever held that drained every bit of certainty out of me. The tape was moving hard against me. The room seemed to shrink with each tick, and I kept facing the same question every trader must confront. Do you trust the plan you created, or do you trust your fear? Every profitable trader eventually meets this moment. Most fail it, not because the market was too unpredictable, but because their mind was too loud. Confidence is not born from winning streaks. Winning streaks deceive you. They pat you on the back and trick you into believing you're brilliant. But real confidence, that only comes from the days when you want to abandon your own rules and you don't. It comes from staying loyal to your plan when your emotions beg you to rewrite it. It comes from realizing the market isn't testing your strategy, it's testing you. And until a trader understands that, he will always be a passenger in his own decisions instead of the one steering. When I look back at the moments that shaped me, it wasn't the big wins or the trades people like to brag about. It was the moments I sat with a position that felt deeply uncomfortable, terrifying even, but still aligned perfectly with my rules. Those were the crucibles where confidence was forged, and not because the trades worked out, some didn't, but because I chose discipline over impulse. That's the psychology most traders overlook. They think they lack skill, when in reality they lack trust in the preparation they already did. The market exposes every weakness in your mindset. If you don't trust your plan, it becomes obvious instantly. If you don't trust your rules, the tape will toss you around like a leaf in a storm. Confidence is the anchor, the only thing preventing you from being thrown back and forth by every candle. And here's the deeper truth. You can only anchor yourself to something you truly believe in. If you don't believe in your own plan, you'll never survive long enough for it to reward you. Most traders think they need more indicators, more setups, more strategies. They don't. What they need is conviction, a clarity so firm that when the market screams, their mind stays silent. That kind of confidence isn't built from theory. It's built from experience, discipline, and the willingness to sit in discomfort without violating your own rules. When I finally understood this, everything changed. Not because the market changed, but because I did. The difference between a trader who survives and one who disappears is almost never skill. It's mindset. Whenever I see a trader abandon his plan after one shakeup, I know he's doomed before he even places his next trade. The market doesn't need to do anything dramatic. It simply waits for the unprepared mind to betray itself. And that betrayal is subtle. It begins with a flicker of doubt, a quiet thought that maybe you should adjust the plan just this once. That single adjustment, that single compromise with fear, is where most traders lose more than money. They lose self-trust. And once trust is gone, confidence evaporates like water on hot pavement. No indicator or secret pattern can replace what's lost. I learned to welcome pressure, to treat it as a signal, not a warning. When the market shakes my conviction, I see it as proof that I'm standing at the edge of growth. Every seasoned trader knows this place, the pit of fear where mental strength is tested. But not everyone survives it. You can hear the collapse in their decisions. Hesitation over reaction, an urge to fix the market instead of following their rules. These are signs of a trader still chained to emotion. What separates them from the trader who thrives is the subtle, almost invisible ability to do nothing except honor the rules already written. Confidence, in its purest form, is stillness in the storm. It's ironic how people chase confidence instead of cultivating it. They read books, stare at charts, and follow gurus who promise clarity. But confidence isn't borrowed from someone else's success. It is earned in the quiet, unseen moments. When you stare at the tape, your account, and your trembling hands and say, I trust my plan. I trust my process. I trust myself. That is the invisible work, the work nobody sees, yet it determines everything. Every large position I ever held, every trade that materially changed my account, demanded that I silence every impulse and follow the rules I wrote long before. There is no shortcut, no formula, only discipline, moment after moment, until fear loses its influence. Most traders underestimate the violence of their own thoughts. The market will never betray you the way your mind can. The chart has no agenda. It doesn't whisper that you're failing. Your mind does. It creates stories, imagines dangers, and convinces you you're wrong, too early, or missing out. Most traders act on these fears instead of witnessing them. They chase moves, tighten stops, or bail out early at the first sign of discomfort. That behavior is fatal. The market moves on, indifferent to their panic. Confidence is the ability to feel the fear, acknowledge it, and act according to your plan anyway. It is a muscle built only through repeated discipline. Trading is 90% psychological. Charts and setups only matter if your mind allows them to matter. I've watched brilliant strategies collapse because the trader didn't trust himself. I've watched average strategies succeed because the trader executed them with unwavering discipline. A plan is only as strong as your commitment to it. And commitment is invisible, no applause, no recognition. But inside that invisible space, confidence is built, quietly, consistently. Confidence is not the absence of fear. It is the courage to move through it. Every trader feels fear. The difference is in how they respond. Early in my career, hesitation cost me more than failure ever did. I missed great trades, not because the market turned, but because I turned on myself. Eventually, I realized hesitation is more expensive than losses. A loss is temporary. Losing faith in your decisions is permanent. And so confidence becomes survival. The market teaches patience like nothing else. The temptation to act, force a move, adjust the tape is relentless. I've spent entire sessions fighting the urge to press a key, but my plan demanded stillness, and every second of waiting was a test of faith. When the market finally aligned with my rules, the reward was more than profit. It was reinforcement of trust in myself. Repeated often enough, that reinforcement becomes unshakable. Confidence doesn't come from results. Results are temporary. They are reflections of discipline, not its source. Confidence grows in the process, in the repeated adherence to rules when your emotions scream to break them. The market isn't patient, and it doesn't slow for you to feel ready. Every tick is immediate, and so your confidence must be immediate, steady, and impartial as well. There's a dangerous trap traders fall into, mistaking overconfidence for skill. A few wins make them feel invincible, and that's exactly when disaster begins. Confidence and arrogance are worlds apart. Arrogance is untested belief in yourself. Confidence is tested belief in your preparation. The market punishes arrogance quickly. It rewards confidence quietly, slowly, and without praise. That's why patience is essential, not juice. Patience in trades, but patience in your psychological growth. I've seen more traders fall to the weight of their own minds than to any market crash. The brain is a predator disguised as a friend. It exaggerates fear and minimizes logic. Profitable traders learn to observe their thoughts without acting on them. That observation takes strength, the strength to pause, breathe, and return to the plan. Repeating this again and again builds a mental armor. No loss or reversal can break. Even seasoned traders are tested endlessly. Confidence never becomes permanent. It is alive, growing with each disciplined choice, and shrinking with every betrayal of your own rules. That's why journaling and honest reflection matter. They show you whether you're loyal to your plan or slowly abandoning it. Traders who skip this build confidence on sand, not stone. Losses are inevitable, but self-betrayal is optional. Every trader loses money, but only those who maintain discipline preserve the foundation of confidence. Every disciplined moment is a brick in the fortress that protects you in chaos. Every moment of capitulation is a crack waiting to widen. The choice is simple. Execution is hard, and that is why few truly master themselves. Once a trader grasps these lessons, the real work begins, mastering patience under pressure. Anyone can follow a plan when the market behaves. But true confidence is built in chaos, when the market moves against you, when fear screams, when quitting feels justified. I've sat through trades that threatened to break me. Trades that would destroy weaker minds, yet each time I chose discipline. I learned the same truth. The market eventually rewards clarity, loyalty, and courage. Over time, you begin to see patterns not in the market, but in yourself. You learn what you can control, and what you never will. That understanding becomes the foundation of lasting confi. Dense. Every tick, every minor loss, every temporary win is a mirror. Most traders avoid the reflection, terrified of themselves. I learned early that self-awareness is the secret weapon. You cannot control the market, you cannot control volatility, but you can control your reactions, your adherence to rules, or your surrender to impulses. That control is where confidence lives. The temptation to interfere with your plan never stops. I've felt it thousands of times, the whisper to move a stop, close early, adjust an entry. Each whisper is a test of loyalty to your plan and to yourself. Traders fail these tests in small ways without noticing, but the market punishes inconsistency. Each deviation weakens confidence. The lesson is simple and cruel. Trust requires consistency. To fully trust your plan, you must resist the urge to meddle. Watch, wait. Act only when your rules command it. Each time you resist, confidence grows quietly but powerfully until it becomes unshakable. Experience teaches that fear will always appear first before clarity. Doubt comes before certainty. Anxiety comes before calm. Every profitable trade I have taken has followed that rhythm. First the tension, the uncertainty, the urge to act on impulse. Then, if I held steady, the moment arrives when the plan proves itself. Confidence is the bridge between those two states, the willingness to endure fear long enough to reach clarity. And the more you practice that endurance, the more natural it becomes. You begin to anticipate fear, to welcome it as a sign that your plan is being tested, not threatened. Fear transforms from an enemy into a signal, a marker of growth. There is a subtle artistry in the way a confident trader moves. He does not rush. He does not flinch. He does not seek validation from outcomes. Every action is deliberate, measured, and disciplined. I have seen traders with average straight. Geese outperform the brilliant because they maintained composure while others panicked. It is not prediction that wins. It is self-mastery, and that mastery is invisible to the world. It is earned in silence, in discomfort, in those moments when no one is watching and every voice in your head urges you to act irrationally. That is where confidence lives, and that is why so few truly reach it. The market is indifferent. It does not reward emotion or punish emotion. It simply moves as it will, and the trader who survives must learn to move with it, guided by rules rather than feelings. That is the essence of trusting your plan, understanding that your preparation, discipline, and judgment are more reliable than your fear. Every profitable trade I have taken stands as proof of that principle. Not because I was fearless, but because I trusted myself more than my fear. A trust is the invisible hand behind every successful decision. One of the hardest lessons is accepting temporary losses without losing confidence. The market punishes impatience, ego, and overreaction, yet it rewards the trader who stays steady and acts according to rules instead of emotions. I have held positions that looked doomed, but turned into substantial gains, simply because I resisted abandoning the plan. That is the paradox of trading. The market tests you harshly, yet rewards patience with precision. Confidence is the currency you earn by honoring that paradox consistently and without compromise. Even the most disciplined trader is tested repeatedly. Fear never disappears. The market never stops challenging your judgment. Confidence is not a state, it is a practice. Every day, every session, every trade is another chance to prove your loyalty to your process. Proof that your rules outweigh your impulses and your plan is worth trusting. Over time, these repeated proofs build a resilience that no T movement can shake. That is the difference between the trader who merely survives and the one who thrives for decades. The most subtle element of confidence is humility. The trader who thinks he is invincible is already headed toward ruin. True confidence is quiet, measured, and self-aware. It acknowledges risk, accepts uncertainty, and respects the market's power. It does not boast about past wins or fear future losses. It simply exists in the ability to act correctly, even when everything around you screams for deviation. That quiet, tested, disciplined faith in one's own process is the final layer of mastery, and it is what separates the traders who endure from the ones who fade away chasing illusions of certainty instead of developing true, unshakable confidence. By the time a trader finally understands confidence, he realizes it is inseparable from self-discipline. The market does not reward cleverness, intuition, or even insight. It rewards consistency, obedience, and loyalty to one's own rules. I have watched traders with brilliant predictions fail because they lacked the courage to follow their plan through pressure. Confidence is not abstract. It is the tangible result of repeated disciplined action in the face of doubt, fear, and uncertainty. And once a trader internalizes that, everything else becomes secondary. Profit, loss, fear, excitement, all fall beneath the power of trusting oneself. There will be days when the market feels cruel, when nothing aligns with your plan, when every candle feels like a personal attack. Those are the days that define a trader. The difference between survival and failure is measured in seconds, the split second when the mind chooses between impulse and discipline. I have lost more money to impatience than to volatility. I have ruined positions not because the market was unfair, but because I betrayed my own rules. Every betray. Al left a scar, a lesson, and eventually a deeper understanding of confidence. It is not the absence of mistakes, it is unwavering loyalty to your process despite them. The market is a mirror of your psyche. It invents nothing, it amplifies what is already inside you. If you lack patience, it will test it. If you lack discipline, it will punish impulses. If you lack trust in your plan, it will exploit hesitation. But if you meet the market with steadiness, if you act according to your rules and silence the noise in your mind, clarity follows. That clarity is the essence of confidence. It allows you to spot opportunity where others see chaos, to move decisively when others freeze, and to stand firm when the tide threatens to pull you under. Every profitable trader I know has faced moments that would break a weaker mind. Nights of fear, days of uncertainty, trades that look destined to fail. What separates the survivor from the casualty is always the same: loyalty to the plan, trust in oneself when no one else would, patience when panic demands action. Confidence grows in these crucibles. It is tempered by doubt and strengthened by proof of self-trust. That is the invisible work, the unseen mastery that allows a trader to endure, grow, and succeed. Do not mistake confidence for arrogance. Confidence is not loud or reckless. It is quiet, measured, deliberate, and self-aware. It acknowledges danger, accepts uncertainty, and stays steady. It is the calm in the storm, the anchor in the chaos, the hand that executes with certainty even when fear rages. And here lies the final lesson. The market will test you endlessly. But if you build unshakable trust in yourself, if you follow your plan through doubt and discomfort, nothing outside of you can control your destiny. That is power. That is freedom. That is mastery. The truth is simple, yet few grasp it. The market does not create. Confidence you do. Every disciplined action, every resisted impulse, every loyal moment to your plan is a brick in the fortress of self-trust. And once that fortress is built, it becomes impenetrable. Losses stop terrifying you. Volatility no longer paralyzes you. Fear stops dictating your actions. Confidence becomes solid, formidable. It is the quiet certainty that when the market moves against you, you will respond correctly, guided not by emotion, but by logic, experience, and tested rules. I have watched traders transform from panicked novices into calm, precise operators of their own destiny. The transformation begins when they accept fear as inevitable, doubt as constant, and losses as part of the journey. They realize the only thing they truly control is their own mind, and when they embrace that truth, something extraordinary happens. The plan becomes their ally, the market becomes a proving ground, and confidence becomes a living force within them, quiet, relentless, and unstoppable. And finally, the greatest reward in trading is not the money, status, or temporary victories. It is self-mastery. To sit through a trade that would terrify an amateur and remain calm, to execute flawlessly while the world screams for distraction, to know with certainty that your decisions come from discipline, logic, and loyalty to yourself. That is the pinnacle of trading. That is what every trader seeks, though few achieve. When you reach it, you realize confidence is not a destination. It is a journey renewed with every decision, every trade, every heartbeat that honors your plan above your fear. So I leave you with this. The market will challenge you, tempt you, frighten you, and push you to your limits. But the trader who survives, the trader who thrives, is the one who trusts his plan when fear screams, who acts with discipline when doubt rages, and who builds confidence not from outcomes but from loyalty to himself. That is the silent war shaping every great trader. That is the psychology of confidence. That is the truth that carries you through every storm and lifts you above the chaos, allowing you to trade not with fear but with certainty, clarity, and freedom. So, here's what I want you to do next. Take a moment after this video. Open your trading journal and ask yourself, do I truly trust my plan? Identify where fear made you deviate and commit to following your rules without compromise. And if you found value in this video, don't just watch. Like, share, and subscribe so we can continue delivering insights that go beyond indicators and strategies. Finally, comment below with your biggest struggle in trusting your plan, or the moment you realized fear was holding you back. I read every comment, and this community grows stronger when we learn from each other. Remember, the market will always test you, but your confidence, built through discipline, patience, and self-trust, is what will make you unstoppable. Take that step today.